Welcome to Beyond Limits, empowering coaches and entrepreneurs.
I'm Steve Remmert.
And I'm Odile Remmert.
Get ready for a podcast that challenges everything you thought you knew.
We're the founders of the Remmert Method, ready to shake up your mindset.
Break through doubts, fears, and limiting beliefs and ignite your true potential.
Join us for inspiring conversations and strategies you won't hear anywhere else.
This is Beyond Limits, empowering coaches and entrepreneurs.
Subscribe now and get ready to redefine what's possible. Today we wanted to talk a little bit about the doubts and fears that are holding you back from growing your business or taking the action that you know you need to take in order to reach the people you can help. And I know that one of the things that we were talking about is the fact that there are so many, particularly I think coaches and entrepreneurs in the world.
Thankfully, we were never one of those.
Sure.
All of those business people, coaches, entrepreneurs, those kind of people that are out there that are struggling, that are trying to make it happen. That's what I was referring to. It's like
yes.
Facetiously.
Absolutely. And the point is, so one of the reasons we're particularly passionate about this is that there are as I say, all kinds of business owners, but in particular, I think coaches and entrepreneurs out there who have the solutions to world problems, but their doubts and fears are stopping them from sharing those solutions. And those the solutions to world problems that can have a ripple effect and can change the world like that, right? I mean, who knows? You may be one of them. How many people are out there with the solutions, but who just can't get themselves to take the actions to share those solutions? And it could be self-doubt. It could be fear of promoting the business. People will think I'm bragging. What will people think? Imposter syndrome. There's all kinds of fears of putting myself out there, fears of being on camera, fears of anxiety about posting on social media. So there are people out there who are teaching amazing marketing techniques and skills and providing those services and that kind of thing, and sales techniques and all that. But the people who have the solutions to share with the world very often aren't able to take that action.
Yeah, I was thinking about, some of the people that we've worked with through, and not all that many years, that we've actually been doing this, but the people that we've been working with recently. Give me an example.
I've got one.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got one. So there is someone who is now in her third year of medical school. So there's someone in her third year of medical school who would be in medical school if Steve and I hadn't got rid of our doubts and fears. So this is not about, oh, look how amazing we are that we helped this person. No, it's about if we hadn't got rid of the fears and doubts that we both had quite significantly, right? The anxiety and all that.
What were some of those fears and doubts that you feel like were holding you back? So
for me, I didn't want to be seen on camera. And now I know that can sound strange to some people who know me because I was an actress and singer. But the point is that I was confident performing if I had like a script and, somebody doing hair and makeup and all of that. But for me to just be myself and just talk, I absolutely, I would cringe at the thought of it. And also, as I used to think, okay, I should do videos, we should do Facebook Lives and YouTube and all that, my brain would immediately go to all the people I know that I thought would be judging me. Yeah. So I would see myself through their eyes and what they would think of me. And, it was all like, oh, no, I don't want to be seen.
I remember some of those first couple of videos that we did. I think you did the first video that we ever published by yourself because I was too frightened to even get on the camera. And I think back at that experience and just the amount of fear that was there
That's it. And so it can be paralyzing. And then the other thing is, having the belief that if you promote your business or promote yourself, that people are going to judge you, or that, you shouldn't promote yourself and your business. And so I want to go back to Swasti, who is the medical student.
Yeah.
So, for example, if Steve and I hadn't worked on ourselves and changed those fears and doubts that were keeping us from just sharing what we have and what we do, we wouldn't have reached her. She wouldn't have known about us.
Right.
Number one. And then she wouldn't have been able to change her doubts and fears, which means she wouldn't have got into medical school, and in the future, there would be a doctor who wouldn't exist because we couldn't get past our doubts and fears. And the reason I'm mentioning this is because sometimes when we're focused on our own stuff, I'm worried about what people think. I'm too scared. I'm not good at sales. Who do I think I am? Nobody wants to hear what I have to say. People are going to think I'm bragging. All of those, the imposter syndrome, all of those doubts and fears. When we're focused on that, we lose sight of the end result. And bringing focus back to the end result can help us at least start to get past those doubts and fears with a different perception. And the reason that it's so difficult to keep the end result in mind is because the brain is automatically designed to focus on the danger so that we don't get killed by the bear while we're appreciating the flowers. And the danger in this case is, what will people think? I shouldn't, who do I think I am? Or people will think I'm a fraud, or whatever those doubts and fears. They're different for different people. And the brain is producing stress chemicals like adrenaline and cortisol that make the focus, sort of close up, home in on the danger, the so-called danger, and ignore the knock-on effect.
Yeah, I'm kind of hearkening back to those early days of us doing that kind of thing. And clearly, I wasn't in that space of thinking about the knock-on effect, that our work would one day have. I was just clearly focused on, the feeling, even though there wasn't a real live bear attacking or whatever that imagined danger was. And now what we know and the work that we do is taking a look at what the unconscious part of the brain is recognizing as the bear.
That's right.
Because the trigger, that fear that we're feeling in the moment is coming from someplace. It has an origin, it has a root, and it is unique. It's absolutely unique to all of us. So that it's not but the fear, those neurochemicals that we're feeling, the effect of that fear in our body has that ability to just micro-focus us on trying to stay alive.
Right.
That feeling of trying to stay alive in the moment. And I've lost my ability to think strategically. I've lost my ability to keep my eye on the prize, whatever those words are. And that is holding everything back.
And in this modern day and age, there is absolutely no beneficial role for fear.
Now, wait a minute.
You don't agree with that?
No,
there's no reason for fear. Fear, I don't believe that fear is useful or helpful unless your life is in danger.
Well,
right
and I think that there's certainly going to be a popular belief, or there's going to be a long-standing belief that we've got to have a certain level of fear just so I think I held this belief. It's like, I've got to have a little bit of fear or I'm going to do something stupid.
Yes, and that's such a great topic. So here's what
I'm stupid.
So here's what I believe. I could be wrong, but I really, really believe that there is no benefit to fear unless your life is in immediate danger. And the reason for that is we don't do, fear doesn't protect us. So fear doesn't keep you safe. Fear keeps you stressed. So you don't have to be frightened of something to not do it or to make a decision.
Say that again.
You don't have to be frightened of something to make a particular, to make a safer choice. So I'm going to give an example.
That would be good.
You don't have to be frightened of traffic to not walk out in front of a car.
Okay.
You don't have to be frightened of making a bad decision in order to not make that decision. You could be strategic. And being strategic is a lot more effective, a lot more empowering, and a lot more reliable than being frightened of something. Because one of the things we know is that fear, like all negative emotions, fear, which involves adrenaline and cortisol, those stress chemicals cause blood to drain from the prefrontal cortex of the brain, where we do our cognitive thinking, to the back of the brain for survival.
Yeah.
So, in that moment, we're ready to run away or fight or pretend to be dead. So the fight, freeze, flight state. However, unless your life is in immediate danger, in which case, of course, you need that response in order to survive right now, everything else, you need the cognitive thinking part of your brain. So if you're feeling frightened of making a decision, let's say there's a decision to be made, perhaps it involves, investing in money or whether you should hire someone or not, or
Get in front of the camera.
Get in front of the camera, whatever. But let's say there's a good option and a bad option. If you're frightened, you're not going to be able to think strategically in order to make the right choice, because the blood will have drained from that part of your brain and you will just be on automatic, which is only good enough for running away or fighting. It's not good enough to make decisions. Whereas if you are not frightened, then you're able to use strategy and you'll be able to weigh up the options and go, I remember in the past this wasn't a good idea, or consult someone, ask for help. Strategy outweighs fear, is much more effective than fear. Do you think that answers the question?
Absolutely. And I guess the other bit is what's underlying those fears, because, how is it that two separate people could have the same issue, or they're facing the same issue, and one of them is paralyzed in fear and the other one is thriving? What's underlying? Where are these, what are these fears about? Where are they coming from?
Right. You don't know?
No.
So what we know as well is that our self-image and worldview is supported by references, so unconscious references. So as we go about our daily lives, the unconscious part of the brain is referring to references and information that determines who we are and how the world works and how we respond to things. So for one person, when one person thinks about doing a video, for example, for let's say, Facebook Live or Reels or YouTube or whatever, one person may feel fear, so they feel the anxiety, or they're worried about what people think of them, or they're worried they'll make a mistake or whatever. And another person thinking of exactly the same action to take may be excited. It may be, oh yeah, that'll be fun. And you'll notice that a lot of people seems to come naturally and easily to them, and others it's a huge hurdle to overcome. And some people push through it and do manage to overcome it, but others can't. And the difference between those people, the difference between people who find it easy and fun and others who find it cringy or frightening, is those unconscious references. And that's what makes it so difficult, is that the references are unconscious, so we're not consciously aware of them. And that, if we knew what they were, that would be easier. But I did want to mention here as well that we do have a webinar, a free training webinar about all of this, exactly what those references are and how to change them, and how to clear that fear and that doubt, because it's a bigger, deeper topic, and the webinar does a great job of that.
Yeah. As you were as you were talking about that, I was kind of thinking about that experience. And I know that there could be several unconscious things that are back there that are providing that foundation of that fear. And I know for myself, as I started to work through this, I know that thought of getting in front of the camera brought up that feeling of what it felt like to be standing in front of that classroom, about to recite the poem that I couldn't remember. And that feeling of, I don't want to go through that embarrassment again, and what does that say about me, and all of that kind of thing. Is that
well? And that's something that you consciously remember. So that's one possibility. But I think what's important is also to recognize that it may not be something, and in fact, it often is something that people aren't aware of. And just because you can't remember it consciously doesn't mean it's not there unconsciously.
Obviously, within the amount of time that we have here, we can't go into that level of depth. But I think that, kind of holding up that idea that the doubts and the fears that we have, I think that we oftentimes end up attributing those doubts and fears to something. There must be something really lacking inside of me, or, it's my fault, or I've done something wrong, or,
or I'm just not the kind of person
right. And what I think that we've discovered in what we're doing in this work is to recognize that the fears aren't speaking to what's wrong with you. It's about what happened to you.
Right.
So,
and the other thing I want to point out is not everyone reacts to the same things in the same way.
Absolutely.
So if it really was a case of people judge, or there's something wrong, that you shouldn't promote yourself and that kind of thing, then most people would feel that way, or everybody would feel that way. But you'll have noticed that there are some people who are quite comfortable sharing what they do right from the outset, and then others are scared or have feel self-conscious or don't have self-belief in that, and it's because it's the unconscious references in each person. That's what makes the difference between someone like Alex Hormozy or Tony Robbins or Gary Vee, who are comfortable promoting themselves, and then someone like we were. So but the fabulous news is that the brain can be changed, and that's, I think, the biggest message I wanted to get across today, is that the brain can be changed, because that gives hope. There is hope, and you can completely change not just what you do, not just becoming more, yes, I can promote my business, but feeling it. So really genuinely feeling comfortable, confident, and having fun with it, as opposed to trying to make yourself do it, which is what I used to have to force myself.
Yeah. We have the ability to step up and accelerate that process, take control of that process, so that we're no longer feeling like we're at the mercy of our own brains.
Thanks for tuning in to Beyond Limits, Empowering Coaches and Entrepreneurs.
We hope you found this episode enlightening, inspiring, and helpful.
And if you did, please do consider leaving us a 5-star review so that others can benefit as well.
Subscribe for more inspiration and strategies to fuel your success.
For more information on working with us, visit our website,
theremmertmethod.com. That's Remmert, REMMERT, theremmertmethod.com.
Sending you love and encouragement. Until next time.